Hi everyone, it's Christy. Welcome back. I'm going to start something new today. I don't have a lot of writing space in this Bible, and so I'm going to start kind of a combination journal. I had this composition book that I had only used the first 5 pages or so, so I tore those out, and so it's basically a brand new journal. I'm going to use it as kind of a scripture writing and scripture prayer journal. Not prayer in the sense that you might be thinking, but taking scripture verses and writing them out as if they were a prayer. So that's just something I've been wanting to practice a little bit more. I used to do it, and I haven't done it in a long time, and I just feel like that would be a good spiritual practice for me right now. So we're going to dive in and get started on a couple things. One is, I may or may not go through it later and put it cover the cover, or at least I might cover this inside part. I actually like the colors of the cover because they match my Bible. Okay, so I might just use this as is, but I might come in and put a piece of nicer paper on the inside. But one of the things I wanted to start by doing is creating a pocket. And this is something I've done before. So I'm going to just take my glue stick and thicken this up by gluing 2 pages together. And if you've ever used a composition book for an art journal, you'll know, let me get out to the edges a little bit better here. If you've ever used a composition notebook as an art journal, you know that you can glue 2 or 3 pages together to get a nice thicker page that your art products won't bleed through. Okay, so I did. Make sure I get that separated correctly. Okay, so this is the 2 I glued together. Now I'm going to do the next 2 the same way. Gluing multiple pages together really strengthens the page, makes it a little closer to cardstock. Let me grab a drink. I apologize. This is going to continue until we get rid of the smoky air. And I probably should have put down a backing paper underneath that. Okay, so I have 2 sets of pages that I've glued together. Now I'm going to take this top one and just fold it back diagonally. And I'm going to glue that flap down. In fact, okay, so that's all I did there is just glue that flap down. And you could glue it the other way if you wanted to, but I'm going to we're going to make our pocket this way. And so I wanted it on the inside. But you could glue it back the other way if you wanted to decorate the flap on the outside. So now, let me just put this back here. Normally I would just glue, see the flap comes down to here. I would just glue this part. But I was thinking I might use some washi tape and just washi tape these 2 together. So I'm going to give this a try. Okay, so I'm in camera, yeah, making sure. And then I'm just going to fold, put half on the front, and I'm going to just fold it over. And then I'm going to do the same thing across the bottom here. Oops. Dropped the washi on the floor. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. Can you see that? I'm just folding it up and pressing it down. Okay. Cap glue back up. And then let me press this out a little bit. Got a little bit of a bubble in it. Let's see if I can work that out. Yeah, it was just an air bubble, I think. Okay, it's not perfect. It's a little bit ugly, in fact. But then, if it bothers you that you have, see, the washi is a pointed corner and the journal is rounded, you just come in here and snip that off. And that little bit I snipped off went flying, and I don't see where it went, but that's okay. I'll find it later. That's what cleaning your desk is for. Okay, so now I have, you know what I think I might do? I might just, to make it decorative, I'm just going to add a strip on the edge of the pocket. This could get a little bit tricky. Oh, it's going to work fine, I think. I should have thought of that before I glued the pocket, fastened the pocket down. I should have done this part first. But it worked fine. And you know what? I'm going to put a little extra piece right here. There's this piece right in that corner there. That's a kind of a stress point. I'm going to put down a little extra washi right there. That one was cut at a diagonal, so I'm just going to make that a straight cut. Maybe I'll come at it from the back side. Well, maybe not. I need to be able to see where the top of the pocket is. I'm winging it, can you tell that? I'm just going to double. That's a kind of a short little bit. Uh-oh. Somehow my washi keeps ending up on the floor today. There. And then I'm going to just round that corner off a bit again. Okay, so now we have a pocket. And I'll be able to take, I don't know, let me just grab something. Take, note cards or scraps of paper, whatever I want to keep in my journal, and be able to put it there, put a prayer list in there, anything I want. So that's how you can make a easy pocket in the front of a composition book, or anywhere in the composition book. You could do it again at the end. You could put one every 30 pages, whatever. And use them as section dividers. Make a pocket like that to use as section dividers if you want. Okay, now we're going to kind of just get started with the front page. And trying to remember if I had a plan. I'm going to use my box of Sharpie pens. I can kind of go at the bottom. Let's see, we're going to write I think for the first page, since it'll be the first thing I look at, I'm going to just write out a verse. And maybe even what I'll do, maybe I'll write it on this side because it'll be the back side of the pocket. Okay, I'm going to sit for this. I have got, let me pick a couple colors here. Maybe I'll just stick with two. I was debating whether to pick a certain color. Let me see how two goes. I think I can do this with two. And I've got a verse called up on my screen. Isaiah 41:10. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my victorious right hand. Okay. I've been moving this around. Let me make sure, yep, you're still in frame to see it on the camera. Okay. Trying to decide how I want to do this. How artistic do I feel right now? I'm going to write this one pretty straightforward. Wow, that's weird. Is that weird? This looks like it's blue, but it wrote green. What is this? Sharpie grip. Why did that write green? That's not quite the result I wanted. Let's try this one. Sharpie. Let's see if this one writes green. I should have tested that. I didn't think. Oh yeah, this is better. Well, we'll try this again. There, that's more the color I expected. I'm going to throw this one away. I'm not sure why that wrote green. Okay. Don't be afraid. We're going to alternate colors. I am getting a little bit of bleed through. I was thinking 2 would be enough. Sometimes when you use Sharpie, you need to glue together 3 pages. But that's okay. What I could do is come in with a piece of scrapbook paper and cover that up. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged. For I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up. With my victorious right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. And then what I want to practice doing is, here's a verse, and I'm going to write it on this side. I'm going to write it as a prayer. I think I'll just stick with the blue here. So I'll put Lord, Lord, thank you that I do not need to be afraid. You only got a comma, for you are with me. Thank you that I don't need Thank you that I don't need to feel discouraged, for you are my God. Thank you for strengthening me. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for holding me up. With your victorious right hand. And then I'll add a little bit more. Please remind me of these things when I feel afraid or discouraged. And then maybe I will just get a little bit artsy here. And I'm going to use this I'm just drawing some quick little flowers here. And maybe up here. And then just kind of as a reference, I think I might just put fear. So that as I'm paging through later on, I can just see in the upper right corner the topic of that page. Okay? So we wrote out the verse, and then on this side we wrote it as a prayer and added, kind of a few thoughts. Please remind me of these things when I feel afraid or discouraged. I just did some random little artwork to fill up the space and made a note in the corner of how I can reference that as I'm paging through later on. And we made a pocket that I can decorate. I might add some stickers or something to this later on. I don't know what I want to put on it yet, so I'll just leave it plain for now. And yeah, that's a good start for a prayer, scripture writing scripture prayers. How do I want to say that? I got to figure out how to title this video. Writing scripture prayers, I think, is what I'm trying to say. All right, well, that was quick and easy, and I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.